Hi everyone, this video is a complimentary video to the post that I've done on squats on my site, myomytv.com. We're running through a sequence of exercises to assist with glute activation and hip mobility. The following sequence should be performed after your normal warm-up, just to ensure that you're already nice and supple before beginning these, because a lot of them involve stretches and they are to increase mobility, but they're not to be used as a warm-up themselves. They're just part of an extended warm-up, just to work on problematic areas. So to start with, we're going to do what's called a yoga plex. It's a lot of different exercises in one, and making one complex of exercises, which is a good place to start. So starting in the press position, raise yourself into the downward facing dog position, feeling the stretch down the back of the legs into the calves. If you can place your heels on the floor, then do so. If not, don't worry. From here, back into the press position. Reach one foot up beside the same hand as far as you can go. Allow the opposite hip to drop, feeling a stretch in the hip flexor, feeling a stretch in and around the glutes and the hips. From here, arm out in front, circle arm up and round, feeling the stretch through the shoulders into the thoracic spine, and then return the hand to the starting position. Feet back into the press, back into downward facing dog, press, opposite hand or opposite foot, arm out, circle, follow the hand with the eyes and round back to starting position. Press, downward facing dog, feeling the stretch increasing each time. Press, back to the start. Feeling the stretch through the opposite hip at the front and this glute at the back. And then back, up, press, lift a foot, drop the hip, feel the stretch, follow the hand around in a circle. And then back. Complete about 6 to 8 in total, and then move on to the next exercise. This next sequence is great for activating or awakening the glutes and getting them to fire properly, and it's also a good assessment to find out whether or not your glutes are firing properly. So to begin, on all fours, we're going to do some Jane Fondas, and remember to keep the core nice and tight, shoulders straight, keeping the body in line and level throughout, and just begin by rotating one hip in circles and doing 6. It's not about how far up you can get, because then you're going to knock your balance off, so just keep the rotations at a good level to be feeling. In opposite directions, 6 rotations. 6, and then side raises, really activating into the glute med. After you've completed that, then we're going to do some bird dogs. So as you lie down on the opposite leg, have it underneath, this leg out straight, down onto the forearms, keeping the toes up so that you have a bit of grip there, keeping the back nice and straight. From here, opposite leg straight out the back, and what you're going to do is lift. If you have poor glute activation, chances are you're using your hamstrings. If that is the case, you will feel your hamstring want to cramp. Also, your balance will be knocked off if your back is being overworked, and you will feel a strain there. So it's a good way to know whether or not your glutes are properly firing, and it's also a great way to try and correct it. Then, after the 6 in that position, then you can lift your opposite arm and opposite leg, keeping the toes up. So repeat on the other side. Remember that keeping it at 6 reps means you're not going to work the muscles. You're going to get adequate firing of the muscles, and they're going to warm up, but you're not going to over fatigue them, because some of these movements are working very small muscles. So great exercise, great way to assess where your problems are lying, and really felt that in the glutes, so that's good news. At this point you may want to add in more dynamic warm-ups for around the hips and the glutes. So a good way to do that is to stand against the wall, holding on with one leg stable. The opposite leg can swing from side to side. Other leg. You're getting a warm-up, pull, and then a dynamic stretch along the swinging movement. Very good warm-up for around the hips. This next series of exercises is more for glute activation, and they are quite hard. So I'll show you some different variations of exercises, and you may choose to do them all in a sequence, or else take a couple out of it and try them. Lie on your back on a mat. Have your feet about a foot space away from your bum. From there, you can put the hands on the hips just to keep the balance right, and then power up into supine bridge, squeezing obviously the glutes. You don't want to feel it too much in the hamstrings, although you will, but you want to feel it primarily in the glutes, and you do not want to feel your lower back under strain. From here, you can just do simply up and down, and then whenever you're raising up, concentrate first on bringing the pelvis forward, because that's when you're activating your glutes. So from the floor, squeeze the glutes, and they lift first. You want the glutes to activate before the hamstrings. So do a few of those, and then we're going to add in more complicated moves, which is a single leg glute raise. Try and keep the leg that's up at the same level, the same angle as the other leg. So from there, keeping the glutes tight, bringing the pelvis up and down. These are hard, so it does take practice to be able to do it. Just keep checking throughout that you're maintaining the level pelvis. From here, the next version is again with the foot, the heel on the floor, toes are up. With the opposite leg this time, you hold the knee into the chest and you power up with the glutes. Lying it flat. Power up and squeeze. Knees need to crack. If it's too difficult for you on your heel, you can revert back to having the foot flat on the floor. But if your hamstrings are starting to cramp, then I would return to this activation exercise here, just to try and really get those glutes awakened and activated, because it's getting the firing sequence right. Your hamstrings do come into play, but after your glutes are fired. That's it then. That's a very simple but effective routine to run through. There's not a whole load of different exercises. There are other ones you can do, but I wanted to keep it simple and effective, so hopefully I've achieved that.